Welcome into the Weather Wednesday podcast here at New England Storm Center. So it looked like for at least a couple of days earlier this week that we would be talking about yet another snowstorm on the docket for New England. This one coming in Saturday night into Sunday morning. It would have been more of a quick hitter, but that storm is looking to stay well south of New England. Most of the models have it further south, including the always reliable Euro model has it tracking well to the south. There are a couple of models that still have it up north. There's still a spread in the models, but it really doesn't look likely that this storm is really going to affect New England at all. Maybe bring a couple of snow showers to southern New England, maybe, but that's just about it. The GFS still has it coming further north and bringing potentially moderate accumulations to New England, but who cares what the GFS says? The GFS has always been the less reliable model of the two major models, the GFS and the Euro. The GFS has always been the less reliable one, and the GFS has been awful this winter. Like, it's been very bad. It has overestimated snow to a ridiculous degree. I mean, the GFS had in this last week's storm, the Friday to Saturday storm, Friday night through Saturday storm, that model had Boston seeing upwards of a foot of snow. And that's what it's been doing across the country. It's just been producing these massive snowfall amounts, these big snowstorms that just haven't panned out. And it just keeps going with it. So, yeah, that one's still saying moderate snowfall, but yeah, who cares what that one says? There's not going to be much of a snowfall this weekend for New England. Now, something interesting with the Euro model, it comes in the middle of next week. It showed a low pressure system working up the coast in a standard nor'easter fashion. It then had the low do a bit of a kind of a loop and just hang around offshore of New England, creating a long duration snow event. Now, I'm not saying that there's going to be this big 2-day snowstorm that's going to drop massive snowfall amounts. That would be ridiculous to say at this point, especially considering how the models have been behaving throughout this entire winter. Basically, throughout the entire winter, as I said, they've been at longer range. They've been saying, hey, big snowstorm coming, potentially heavy amounts, get ready. And then as the storm approaches, as the event approaches, as the day gets closer, the models start backing off of the snowfall amounts. They kind of drop it down and say, well, maybe this is just going to be a meh snow event. So here, over a week out at this point, as I'm recording this, I'm not going to say there's going to be a big snowstorm in the middle of next week. But I am going to say that that will be something to keep an eye on as this week progresses. As we start getting into this weekend, we can start getting more of a clear focus as to what that potential low is going to do. So a lot of the storms that we have had so far this winter have stemmed from the atmospheric river that has just been pummeling California with megastorm after megastorm after megastorm after megastorm after megastorm. It really is incredible what is happening out in California, especially up in the California mountains. And it's not showing any signs of stopping either. Some areas of the Sierra Nevada mountains have gotten 48 feet of snow so far this winter. And I giggle a little bit, but it's getting pretty serious out there with some of the residents in the mountain towns. I mean, there was someone who was stranded for a week. They survived on snow and some snacks that they had in their house. A grocery store's roof collapsed under the weight of the snow. The store owner gave away everything he could save from his store out to the residents of the town and, of course, to all the responders who were coming in trying to clear all this snow out of these mountain communities. It really is something. This has been the snowiest winter out there for 40 years. It's been since the 82 to 83 winter, I believe it was, that was the last time it was this snowy out there. Of course, with all the problems it's causing, it's of course making a gigantic dent in the exceptionally bad drought. It's hard to put into words the drought that they've been having out there. This is going to make a serious dent. It already has made a serious dent, and with more storms on the way, they're going to continue chipping away at that. Of course, the drought out there is such a situation that, one exceptional winter like this isn't going to be a solve everything, but boy, is it going to make a dent. So there's some good, there's some bad, there's some good. There's going to be a lot of flooding problems out there as spring gets underway and all of this snow has to melt. So we will be keeping an eye on that and keep our eye on California, as they're not done with the storms either. They got more storms on the way, bringing more feet of snow, 4 or 5 feet at a time from each storm. So we will, of course, continue watching that situation. And I know I'm kind of babbling about the California situation. I wasn't actually planning on talking about the California storm situation in this episode, so that was impromptu here, but that'll happen here on Weather Wednesdays. I talk about what comes to mind, and that's what came to mind as I was talking about the snowstorms that we've had. So that's the situation in California that I have off the top of my head. Maybe next episode I'll dive in more, do some more research on exactly what's going on out there, and I can be a little more smooth with that. But anyway, let's move on to a subject that I was planning on talking about in this episode. So the resort roundup is officially underway. I mentioned it last week that on this past Monday, the resort roundup would be beginning, and it has. So the first update of the spring 2023 season has arrived, and it's good news for skiing in New England. After most of January and February were looking pretty bleak for the ski resorts, all of a sudden, as we entered March, cold, snow. So it worked out for the resorts. All 42 resorts that we are watching this season are still open. I believe it's Yawgoo Valley in Rhode Island said that if conditions allow, they will reopen this weekend. So it's not 100% confirmed that they will be back open, but they have not announced that they have closed for the season. So all 42 resorts have survived the first update. So the Resort Roundup will update every single Monday. I'll give the updates here on Weather Wednesday, but if you want to see the updates as they come out, then go to newenglandstormcenter.com and navigate your way over to Resort Roundup, and you can get the updates on Monday. So that is going to do it for this episode of Weather Wednesday here at New England Storm Center. So as always, keep it right here. Keep it on newenglandstormcenter.com for everything weather in New England. And you will hear from me again next Wednesday.